Good afternoon, Desert Sands Educational Foundation community. Thank you for following us today. We have a special event going on. We have the Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services with us, Laura Fisher, and we're going to be talking about Desert Sands social emotional wellness. And right now, I'd like to bring her on screen with us, and we'll add
Hi,
her
Sean.
here. How you doing, Laura?
Very well. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. Thank you for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
You got it. And I was approached by your department that it is Mental Health Awareness Month for the month of May.
Yes.
And I believe you wanted to share a message with all of us.
Yes, Sean, May is our Mental Health Awareness Month. And as we all know, our school districts across the state and country have been closed since March 16th. And by now, we've all been bombarded with media on ways to stay healthy, washing your hands for at least 20 seconds, sheltering in place, only leaving our homes for essentials, and the physical distancing. And all of those are very important to keep us physically healthy. And at Desert Sands, we want to promote also the importance of mental health. Mental health is about how we feel and how we think. When we have healthy ways of expressing our feelings and when we learn to manage those thoughts and our mood, we're able to face any tough times. So I just wanted to have the opportunity to have people join us in practicing mental health wellness to kick off May Mental Health Month. So find some ways to show care and connection at a time when we need it the most. Post your mental health wellness tips using hashtag DSUSD Pride or hashtag You Are Not Alone or hashtag Mental Health Matters. Be sure to check out our Desert Sands Social Emotional Wellness website for resources for our students and families and staff. And you'll find a plethora of information to help you, and also contact information for any staff if you need to reach out for any mental health issues with yourself or your families.
That's fantastic that we're able to offer these to our families. And I want to point out to anybody that's watching that the URL shortener version is at the bottom there. You can go directly to the website. I'll
Great.
also post that in the comments, as well as the hashtags that you guys are promoting for this month and
Great.
posting pictures and so forth. Speaking of your staff, we are lucky to have with us two very important people, our ERMS manager, Sue Ann Block, and I love Sue Ann to death, but I have to say it. I think the other person that she works with gets a little bit more credit than she does. She also has Butters with her. How you doing, Sue Ann?
We're great. You know what, Sean? You're not alone. That's not the first time I've heard that, so I'm not going to take any personal offense to it. Butters is really popular. She actually has created a lot of friendships for me. Just her openness to greet people and create a sense of happiness and joy. It's a great way to get introduced to somebody. So she's a great co-therapist.
I bet. No, I love my dog to death, and I've met Butters once, and I'm just stuck in on Butters. Yeah.
Butters is an integral part of our staff for sure.
Of course, most definitely. So we're here to discuss mental health, and I'll just kind of throw it out there. With everything that's going on, why is mental health so important for our students right now? And I'll kind of give it to either one of you to answer.
It's paramount right now. It's hitting all of us. So usually when we talk about mental health, it is about individuals who have these heightened mental conditions that really interfere in their ability to function. And so we really see them as a separate part of society in terms of having these symptoms, behaviors, moods that sometimes isolate them. But now what's happening is the planet is impacted by this pandemic. And so all of us are experiencing some level of anxiety, depression, even grief. So these are the symptoms, experiences that all of us are experiencing on some level. So it's really paramount in terms of what we are seeing for our students as we have not been in class since March 16th.
Right. Right. With that being said, what are some of the things that you can share about that we are seeing with our families in regards to these things?
Sure. We have a number of mental health wellness providers within the school district, and some of them have ongoing contact with students that have identified mental health symptoms that have interfered in their ability to access the educational curriculum. And so those students we've been in contact with. And then we also have some students that through their distance learning have been able to identify some social or emotional distress. And so our school counselors are reaching out to them. But overall, what we're hearing is isolation. We know that humans are made to interact. And
most definitely, yeah.
And so our students, this is the age where they're really developing, how do I interact? How do I socialize with others? How do I test it out? What works, what doesn't work? And we're so limited now with that. And so that development has changed its course.
Right.
We can talk about, what we can do right now, what our school district is doing, and what we're doing in terms of supporting our parents. But there's a sense of isolation, missing things that they didn't think that they would miss. We experience so many students like, oh, I have to go to school, or I don't like this person, or I don't like this teacher. And now we're hearing, I kind of miss that.
Right. No, I hear you on that. So I go to meal distributions every Monday and Wednesday, and I try to go to as many different sites as possible just to kind of cover it and make sure that our students are being fed. And I'll tell you, those are the 4 best hours of my week. Because I'm outside seeing people, and I'm used to seeing people all the time. And I want to say that my job is completely pivoted like everybody else's, but this is the only way we see people nowadays. And this isolation is killing me.
Right, and that was taken for granted, as Joanne was talking about in the post or pre-COVID. That was just something we did every day. We interacted with people, and we're concerned with not only what the children are going through now, but to get them prepared to come back. And we are doing a lot of trainings with, we'll continue that with teachers to be able to see those signs, whether they're working in distance learning or when we come back to a brick and mortar. So it's just so important to be able to look at not only the physical wellness of a child, but the mental health wellness, so that learning can take place when they're feeling better about themselves.
Most definitely. That's fantastic that you guys work so hard to make sure that we have these things available for our families. Maybe, Sue-Ann, if you could talk about some of the myths about mental health support.
Oh, okay. So the biggest one is that you have to be crazy. If you seek out therapy or you're seeing a therapist, it means something is wrong with you. You are broken, you are crazy, and nobody wants to be seen like that. And so part of our vision and goal and efforts in terms of our wellness staff is we want to remove the stigma about mental health. And so all of us within our roles for the district, we're leaders. And so we have talked hopefully more than once about the silver linings of this situation. And so the silver lining of this is when we return, it's not just the students that you are seeing that are getting discipline referrals or don't show up at school that are needing mental health support. It's going to be everybody on some level, whether or not it impacts them, that it shows up in school, we'll see. But everybody is impacted by this change in our routines.
Oh, most definitely. And with us having implementation of MTSS at different school sites, I was at Palm Desert last year, and it was great to see the team that we created to come up with plans for our students and so forth. And I'm just happy that our district is proactive with making plans like those. I just think it's going to make it easier for students to be welcomed back into school, having those types of plans already in place.
Right. And that's why when I was talking about training, nothing about live, my other phone was ringing, so I had to jump up. But the culture that we're building through MTSS, who would have known at that point this was going to happen? But that's really our base. And as Sue Ann was saying, I think it will be, and I was just on the phone with them yesterday, as a matter of fact, planning for this year's training, and intensified, because we know mental health is going to be such an important issue. Kids, if they're not feeling well or not able to express their thoughts in a healthy way, are usually not going to be able to learn as well either. And so it all comes together.
Most definitely. And maybe if one of you can go over some of the resources we do have since school closure for our students and how they would be accessible and so forth.
Sure.
Anyone? Okay.
Well, we have a lot of things that are intact that were in existence when we were in school. So we all know that when we depend on things that we know that are in place, that gives us psychological safety. So something that we had in place was called the Request for Assistance. This is a form that is located on our district website. It's a form that can be filled out by district staff or by a parent or an extended family member, or even a student can self-refer. So that is in place. And since we have started distance learning, when we are aware of any kind of social emotional distress, whether it's expressed verbally or we can physically see it, we will fill out one of those forms, and there will be a follow-up from a wellness staff to touch base with that family and that student.
I was just going to say, nowadays with follow-up, what does that look like other than phone calls? Are we doing Zoom meetings with families and so forth?
We are. So we are doing the old-fashioned telephone.
Okay.
No rotary dial, though.
Okay.
Cordless, preferably. But we have offered other telehealth platforms. And so depending on the provider, we want to be able to offer something that is accessible. We also want to offer something that is confidential. We want to provide an array of options so that the student or the family are able to access it, but also they're comfortable sharing confidential information.
Of course. And I want to point out again to everybody that's watching and who will be watching, I'll post all of these links as well as hashtags that we want to promote throughout this month and throughout the district on the comment section here, as well as on the foundation page. And you can see the shortened web address being scrolled along the bottom there as well. We're coming up on about 15 minutes here. Is there anything else that you think that we need to let our parents know? Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our families during these times? Laura?
Well, I know as to build a little bit what Sue Ann was saying, we have several groups that have always been in existence in support for our students, but of course now are taking on even different roles with the distance learning. But from our site counselors to our SAP counselors, our student assistance program, to our mental health. So there's so many groups of people and staff that are there to assist. Like I was saying, the training that we're continuing is not only with those specialized people, but understanding all school site staff and building that culture and support for all students and adults, because we know our staff is going to come back and have the same sort of feelings that our students may have. So we're here to support all. Please visit our website. I am so proud of the website that our staff put together for our social emotional wellness. And I've been to many meetings across the county and the state and the country. And I think it is an unbelievable resource for families and staff, no matter what situation you're in, to find a way to get help. And that's really the message we want to send out, is to make sure people know there is a place to get some help.
I love it. Yes, definitely. Schools have always been a source of everything. And I would say that's the biggest source right there. If you need help, please ask us. We are a source of resources, and
Yes.
we can definitely assist. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
And so, Ann, is there anything else that you'd like to say to our families before we wrap up here?
Well, we miss all of our students, and we are with you along on this journey. And so we don't always will have all of the answers. None of us do, but we're willing to walk the path with everybody and support and do our best to let others know that they're not alone.
That's excellent. Yeah, you're not alone. And especially when you have animals, like you have Butters, I have my dog Piper, you're definitely not alone. Yes. And thank you both for taking the time. I want to share with our viewers and the people that are following us on the foundation page, we're going to be highlighting mental health the rest of the month with each of the weeks coming forward. As you guys know, we have a Tuesday and Thursday show called Mornings with Chef Mary, and we're dedicating a half of that show towards mental health for our therapists and our staff to go ahead and sign up so we can interview and talk about the different services that they have, as well as we're opening up some special times available. So looking forward to learning more about what the district has. And once again, just ask for it and we're here. That's what we need to be able to. Yeah, most definitely. Well, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for viewing. And we'll catch up on the next Zoom call, I guess.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And everyone take care.
Yeah, take care. Be well. All right. Bye-bye.